What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today will be all about a stock I've given a lot of praise on this channel over the past few months in the form of HighTide, ticker symbol HITI, which is a cannabis stock in Canada, one of the main Canadian cannabis stocks that is. So today I just want to give an update on its current performance, my own position within this stock and how it's performing. The main point of today's video will be catalysts, so we'll kind of give an update on some catalysts we've discussed before and some new catalysts which will definitely drive the price up in the long term. And finally, we'll give my plans going forward for this stock. So with that being said, let's dive right on into today's video. So at this moment in time, HighTide is one of 33 stocks / ETFs in my portfolio, which is now valued at just over €11,000, and we're up just under 25% overall. Now, at the beginning, HighTide was the one and only penny stock in my portfolio because I did believe it had a lot of potential. Now, usually I do stay away from penny stocks as they are way too volatile for my liking, and I prefer to have more blue chip portfolio style stocks for the long term to dollar cost average in when they drop in price. However, since the reverse split of 14 or 15 to 1 reverse split to get onto the Nasdaq, that was definitely one of the game changers here in my opinion. Now obviously the price has changed considerably since it was a penny stock, although the value hasn't changed. So again, now today this is probably, I know it's ironic enough, but it's probably my worst performing stock out of the 33. However, it's the one that I believe has the most potential long term. Now, as stated earlier, HighTide is the worst performing position of the 33. For example, we can see here it's sitting next to Goldman Sachs, which is now up 110%. We also have Google, which is up over 100% as well. So it's nice to see a few of my positions up over the 100% mark at the moment, and long may it continue. So for at this moment in time, we have 45.75 shares of HighTide, and we're down about €42 or 13%. Now this was down a lot more only a few weeks back, probably about 20 to 22%. But thankfully, patience and slow dollar cost averaging in definitely has driven down my loss here. And hopefully in the long term, I'll continue to buy more. We'll discuss this later on in the video as well. But again, when it's down 13%, any of my positions, it just gives me flags to buy more, which will drive down my average cost effectively. In the long term, will give me a bigger profit. Now, obviously, I'm not a financial advisor by any stretch of the imagination, but doing my own due diligence, I really do believe this stock has so much potential, and we'll have a look at the catalyst now in a few seconds. It's currently trading at about $7.30 USD, so my current average price is about $8.54 at this moment in time. Over the last few months, it's been fairly choppy for the stock, as you can imagine, and a lot of people did suggest, and even I thought as well, once it had the reverse split and went up to about $8 a share, it was a sitting duck for a lot of people to short his stock, hence why it's been so rocky. But again, patience is key in long-term investing, as you are well aware, I'm sure. So again, you need to ride out these storms and look at the catalyst. Even if the price drops, you need to realize the long-term potential of this stock, which we'll have a look at in a few seconds. The catalysts, for example, on the 3-month chart, it's down about 16.8%, as we can see here, which is crazy, even for a blue chip stock. On the 1-month chart, however, it has bounced back a bit and it's up over 11%. On the 1-week chart, it's up about 0.5%, and on the 1-day chart, it's up about 2.5% at this moment in time. But again, as you were well aware as well, catalysts really will drive the price here, as well as news, because even though this is no longer a penny stock, it still will have a lot of swings due to news, and news can sway the stock a lot. So long term, you need to be aware of that, and a lot of people are trying to short the stock as well. So long term, I won't be shorting the stock at all. I believe it will bounce back, and slowly but surely it will go back into the green, because as we'll see now in a few seconds, all of the catalysts are pointing in the right direction. Here's a list I've compiled over the past few months of catalysts / fundamentals on why I believe this stock will do well long term. Now, the ones highlighted below are the new catalysts which I found today while doing research, and we'll focus on the 4 of these later on. They are opening a 93rd branded store. DankStop, their online retailer, they have acquired that now as well. The Q3 earnings date has been reported also, and the elimination of debt 1 year early. But again, we'll come back to those 4 points and why I believe they are catalysts going forward. So we've all the ones up here are the older style catalysts, which we discussed in detail in many prior videos, which I'll link in the description below. So there's no need to go through these today. But again, this is not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination either. So again, it just shows how many catalysts / fundamentals are at play at the moment. If you'd like to look through these in more detail, you can pause the video here and have a look through, or again, you can go to the description below and look at my prior videos on this stock. Now, just one point to note also before we look at those 4 new catalysts highlighted on the Word doc, which we've just looked at. Again, you probably might have the question of why am I not buying more of this stock if I do believe it has a lot of potential. Now, I haven't bought any more of this stock in a few weeks now, mainly because I did want to spread out the weighting of my portfolio and get in other positions that were in the red. And also another situation was because if it's down, let's say 13% at the moment, if it went down more in the next few weeks, well and good, because when I'm buying in, I'll get in at a much cheaper price. But if it also went the other way and went up in value, that's kind of well and good as well. It's a win-win situation because that means I'm going back towards the green. So again, I'm in no rush to buy stock here for this position, but if it does continue to drop or even stay at current levels, I'll certainly be sure to snap up more. So now let's have a look into those 4 new catalysts for HighTide. So the first of these 4 catalysts is that HighTide have opened their 93rd store in Canada, their branded store that is, which again is of huge significance, mainly because they're ever expanding across Canada. Now, I did mention in prior videos one of the very few flaws I could find for HighTide was that they needed to expand outside of Canada as well, and that's in one of the catalysts later on, which we will discuss. But again, this opened their store in Ajax, and it is now the 23rd store in Ontario as well, and it's part of their organic growth strategy. Again, it's great to see these kind of companies having great strategies and they are delivering on the promises. Now again, as I mentioned in prior videos, if you type in HighTide on Google, it's very, very difficult to find any negative news in this stock. All the business they have been doing since I started following this stock about 6 to 8 months ago, I can't find any faults in my own opinion. That's kind of one of the main reasons why I am sticking through to the stock even though it's currently down in value. So one of the areas that HighTide were lacking on as well was that their online presence. Now they have rectified that in numerous occasions over the past few months by acquiring and merging with online e-commerce sites. And they've done that again here. We can see that they have acquired DankStop, which again is an online e-commerce platform. And that's very good news for HighTide because that's certainly one way to expand outside Canada as they can get a global audience from the e-commerce side of things. We can see by acquiring DankStop that it has gave them access to another 200,000 email subscribers and over 335,000 followers on Instagram. Again, these numbers mightn't be huge by the kind of grander scheme of things, but again, by acquiring a lot of these kind of e-commerce platforms, it will bring up their subscriber or follower base a lot, which is great to see also. Now we can see that HighTide has acquired the top e-commerce platform, which already is 3 out of the 5 most popular e-commerce platforms for consumption of accessories within this sector, with almost 100 million site visits, which again is big numbers, especially for HighTide. So again, by HighTide continuing to acquire and merge these online platforms and even to open more kind of bricks and mortar style stores, which we've seen just the point before this, it really is expanding this product, which in the long term can only mean one thing, that's more profit and more exposure. Another catalyst to keep an eye on is their Q3 earnings report. Now this was mentioned on a conference call here, so for the Q3 ending the 31st of July, these will be released on Tuesday, September 14th after market close. Now since I've started to follow this stock over the past about 6 to 8 months, we've seen about 2 quarterly reports at this moment in time, and both have been outstanding in my opinion. We went through those as well, I'll link them in the description below, for the Q4 and even Q1 and 2 of this year as well. So they've been very good. Again, it's very hard to find any negative news in these quarterly reports, and that really has kept this stock afloat, so to speak, as well. So again, I'm really looking forward to seeing if they can continue these great quarterly reports over the past 6 to 12 months as well. In my own opinion, I believe they will, because they've had a lot of great news over the past few months. Although their stock price has suffered a small bit, mainly due to people shorting the stock, and again being a bit of a sitting duck once it had the reverse split and went up in price on the stock exchange. But again, I'm really looking forward to seeing these results, and this could be kind of make or break for the stock as well by judging from these quarterly reports. But in my own personal opinion, judging off other quarterly reports from this stock, I do believe it's going to be of great success. And the fourth updated catalyst, and one of the main reasons why I believe the quarterly report for Q3 will be a success, is because they're clearing a large amount of debt. We can see here that they're after clearing their Meta convertible debentures, which had another year until maturity. So it's very good to see that they're actually clearing debt a year in advance, which now brings their overall debt balance to 28.4 million, which isn't bad at all, considering this was a penny stock only a few months ago. So as you can imagine, most penny stocks have huge amounts of debt racked up. However, HighTide have definitely done the right thing here in terms of clearing debt, and this isn't the first occasion either. They've done this on numerous occasions, and one of the main priorities is to get rid of their debt. Some of the other penny stocks, especially in the cannabis sector, failed to clear their debt, hence why a lot of them go bust. But thankfully, HighTide are on the right side of business here, and that is another one of the main reasons why I like this stock long term, is because everything they're doing seems to be in the right direction. So with all that being said, that's pretty much the end of today's video. I just wanted to give an update because we haven't discussed HighTide in a few weeks now. I just wanted to go over very briefly how they're performing in terms of the charts. We then had a look at my own current position to see how that's performing also. As we saw, it's probably my worst performing position out of the 33. However, I do believe it has huge potential, as we had a look through briefly as well at catalysts and had a look at 4 new catalysts, which will definitely move the price in an upward trajectory. And finally, and in my own opinion on this stock, as I've discussed throughout the video, is that I will be buying more of this stock. I will not be selling. If anything, I'll be buying more if the stock price even goes down more. At current prices, down about 13%, so I will be looking to take advantage of this over the coming days, and I will update you accordingly when I do so. I'll be very interested to know in the comment section below if you, for one, hold this stock and your reason behind this, and if you are planning on buying more, and which of the catalysts mentioned in this video are you most excited about and will have the biggest impact on their current price. So thanks very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you all in tomorrow's video.